that I thought is kind of an interesting one that we can kind of chat about. So here's the topic. Is 30K enough? So this is from Else from, or at least I'm not sure. Well, I'm going to say Elsie from Sacramento. And she writes, is 30K to move to Hawaii with 2 kids under 12, is that enough while looking for work and schools for my kids? That's Elsie's question. And I think, it's a larger topic, right? So what does this mean? This means like, okay, I've saved, have I saved up enough money? It's kind of a financial question, but it's like, have I saved up enough money to move to Hawaii and to be able to kind of make it through? Now, generally speaking, what I tell people, and this is based on my own personal experience, is save up for 6 months worth of expenses. Play conservatively, do some research, figure out what it's going to cost you to live in Hawaii for 6 months on no income whatsoever. That's what I would do. 30K could be about right, but it all depends because everyone's different. Your 2 kids, do they require a lot of care? Are there additional expenses with children? My calculations were based on me moving here single. But what I tell people, generally speaking, is if you want to play it safe, come here with a 6-month cushion so you don't have to worry and get a place to rent. That's my general advice. Let's go around the corner, around the bend here. We'll go to Dylan, then Scott. Let's start with Scott this time. We'll go to Scott, and then Dylan, and then Heidi. Sorry about that, gang. I kind of want to shake it up over here. So when someone comes, Scott, and says, "Hey, look, is this enough for us to live?" Elisa's question specifically. I got 2 kids. Is 30K enough? How do you answer that question, Scott?
Yeah, it comes down to your lifestyle and expenses. Like you were saying, you hit the nail on the head. I was going to say 6 months worth of expenses. If your expenses are $5K a month with having 2 kids with rent and everything else thrown in, then yeah, you should be able to do it. I mean, you're going to have a hustle in your step to get a job and make things happen. So, you can get a rental, 2-3 bedroom rental for, $2,500 to $3,500 a month over here. And then, whatever your other expenses are, that puts you around $5-6 grand a month. You should be able to do that.
So it's kind of close, right? It's kind of close, but you have to, everyone's different. You have to look at your situation, 6 months. So Dylan, how do you respond to that?
Yeah, I think that would be tight. I mean, especially, Big Island, its cost of living is a little bit lower, in terms of housing, but same like Scott said, I mean, your minimum rent's probably going to be $2,000 a month. And I don't know how much your kids eat, but my kids are both under 12 and it costs me like $300 to $400 a week to feed them. So that can add up pretty quick. And then, do you have a car payment? What are your other financial situations? But it can be expensive. I mean, to me, you got to budget. Like, I think to be comfortable and not even live extravagantly, you got to have like $8,000 to $10,000 a month to live for, family of 4 in Hawaii. So.
Especially if your 2 kids under 12 are boys, right, Dylan?
Correct. Yes. Yes.
2 boys under 12, like, man, get ready for it.
There's no more leftovers anymore. We used to be able to cook for 2 days, and now those days are over. So.
And it's like as soon as dinner is over, like, Dad, I'm hungry. God bless you. So Heidi, how do you respond to Elise or others who kind of say, "Hey, look, I'm looking with my, me and my 2 kids, is 30K enough?" How do you respond to that, Heidi?
Well, I would be thinking about what are the possibilities of types of jobs you could get. Because I mean, 30K it's a good amount of savings if you're going to be starting working right away when you move and making new income. So I would be really looking around and seeing what job options are available, what you would qualify for, what realistic income would be at some of those jobs. Because I mean, once you get past the first few months or first 6 months, I mean, you want to have a sustainable situation. And I mean, housing at the very minimum is probably going to be, I mean, like $2,500 to $3,500, and then you have all your other expenses. And I don't know if you need to buy a car or, I mean, there's other things too. So, but yeah, I mean, that was when I moved initially to Maui. I mean, finding a job and being able to work, I mean, that was important. I was able to take off about 6 weeks, but then I started working.
You had a nice 6-week long vacation in Maui, in other words, right, Heidi? Before you had before reality struck, is that it?
Yes, and then I thought, well, I better get a job.
Time to get a job. Yeah, look, you know, I love all the perspectives over here. And Heidi, you know, it was great because you kind of added on. It's not so much about what you've got saved, which is it's a fair amount, but it's more of like, hey, what does your job prospects look like, or how are you going to make the financial plan work afterwards? And you know, Heidi, it's kind of funny because you're right on the money, and I completely agree with you. But yet, I don't know about you, but when I first moved to Hawaii, this was back in the mid '80s. I was 21 years old. I was so cocky and so clueless. I didn't even give a second thought as far as what my job prospects were going to be. I knew I would get some kind of a job that was completely stupid and wrong, of course, but that's beside the point. However, I did have 6 months. I did have 6 months of savings. So that is Wes. So we got some comments on this topic. So thanks, Alex. Alex Martin says, I think she should wait until the economy and shortage of supplies gets back to where it was. But if you're confident and a go-getter, good luck. You only live once. Yeah, you know, and we've talked about this earlier. You know, do you put your life on hold, right, and kind of wait for things to get better, or do you just kind of go for it now? And you know, I think our consensus back then about that kind of question was like, go for it. You know, you kind of only live once, and you know, the thing is, you know, do it now. Live now. You live. You know, all you have is today. Go for it. And Alex says, we make $15K a month, and I wouldn't do it right now. And Alex, I mean, everyone's got a different perspective, and God bless that you thought about it with that kind of an income, and it's still not right for you. And that's kind of what you've got to do. Everyone's got their own thing. Someone's got a comment here.
Yeah, I got a funny story for you from when I moved over from the mainland. You know, I just graduated college. I was all stoked. I had a college degree. I was dressed up in I went for a job application at the Hilton Waikoloa Village when I moved over to the Big Island in 1999. And I go into the room to turn in my application, and I'm dressed up. You know, I got a tie on and, you know, button-down shirt, which is a little strange, especially for the Big Island resort community. And there's some people in board shorts, slippers, and, you know, t-shirt turning their application in. And I'm, you know, straight off the boat from the mainland, I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to get the job before these guys. And one of the guys goes up, oh, hey, Auntie Jane, you know, gives the application. She said, oh, hey, Brother Himo, how you been? You know, oh, you looking so good nowadays. And then didn't get a call for like a month and a half for the application. I was like, oh, it doesn't matter. None of this stuff matters. It's who you know, not what you know over here and what you've done.
And you know, that's actually universally true. It's universally true, really. It's just like Hawaii, for some reason, it really magnifies the heck out of that, right? It's all about the network. It's all about the network. And we stress this. We talk about this in our Islander Ohana courses about getting that job. It's really all about that network, especially for the higher end, the more desirable jobs. You really got to have some connection to make that happen. Yeah, great story, Scott. And Joyce, mahalo, Auntie Joyce, for your wisdom here. Joyce adds in, should also remember that childcare is expensive. My tenant's daughter cost $700 a month while schools were closed until she adjusted. Yeah, you know, sometimes it may pay for actually mom to stay home these days with childcare, especially if you have 2 or 3 kids. And Dylan's nodding, and you know what I'm talking about, Dylan. So great, excellent, gang, great feedback. Thanks for your